And hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some Diamond League destruction out of the map Core Hall Sky City. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, we do have Doncroft, the Forum MVP, as the Red Protoss player. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, Byeo, as the Blue Zerg. And Byeo, oh, there we go. Okay. I really hope this doesn't degrade into a South Park conversation, but I doubt Doncroft would get the reference, so I don't think it's going to happen. No. Nah, Doncroft wouldn't be able to get that reference. It's okay. It's alright, Doncroft. I love you anyway. So anyway, we are going to have a PvZ on Core Hall Sky City, so it's just going to be like really standard for like the next 5-10 minutes. We have Doncroft looking like he wants to take a Forge fast expand, although it might be a Gateway fast expand. It really depends on how ballsy he's feeling today. So instead of actually talking about the game for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to talk about why I haven't put up any videos for the last month, because I was kind of in like a hyperbolic time chamber for commentating called the URTL that I was sinking a whole ton of time into. But you guys can definitely go check it out over at twitch.tv/urgaming. I commentated like 10 to 15 hours a week for them for the last 2 months. So if you've really been missing my YouTube videos, I commentated a crap ton over there, and there's a lot of other games. I think it's 26 hours a week. We have the finals coming up this weekend, so if you missed it, I mean, you guys can definitely head on over to again, twitch.tv/urgaming, go into their VODs, and just find stuff in there. There's a lot of commentaries with me on them, there's some with me not on them, and they're really just all awesome things. So yeah, you guys should go check that out. And again, the finals are going to be this weekend. The first match is Friday at 9 p.m. EST. The second match is Saturday at 12, and then the third match is Saturday at 6. And the final one, I think, is Sunday at 3. And I'm going to be taking the Saturday, both of the Saturday games at 12 and 6 p.m. EST. So you guys should definitely check that out. It looks like we have a little bit of a pylon block going down for Doncroft, but he does cancel it. He's just going to continue being super duper annoying with his probe. And oh my God, Byeo, his money's getting so high. Oh God, Doncroft almost forced him up to 600 minerals there. Ugh, that's not what you want to happen. I mean, Doncroft is finally, he got his Forge fast expand out. And again, Core Hall Sky City is actually kind of an interesting map to go for this fast expand, because there's no ramp. I guess it's kind of like going for it on Tal'Darim Altar. It's actually a little bit better than going for it on Tal'Darim Altar, because on Tal'Darim Altar, like, you had kind of a really awkward area, like out here, essentially, that was just all flat ground that you really couldn't move out onto, whereas at least here you have two reasonably defensible ramps on either side, and it's pretty easy to hold it off. So Doncroft going for a reasonably safe build here. He does get the Nexus before the cannon. It wasn't before the Forge, it wasn't any sort of Nexus first craziness. However, getting it before the cannon, definitely a little bit on the ballsy side. We have Byeo reacting with the third hatchery extremely fast, fairly standard for the PvZ matchup. It's going to be interesting to see what he chooses to do to try to break down this wall, because Zerg players, you know, it can get a little bit rough when you're trying to bust down that Forge, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see Swarm Hosts coming out. Swarm Hosts have really been gaining a lot of traction in the PvZ matchup. They're really strong units that are just really good at kind of like taking a position and telling people to go screw themselves, and this is my position. And that's really what they're known for and what they're used for most of the time. They're like really good siege tanks, essentially. I mean, like, siege tanks in StarCraft Brood War were kind of like that, where it was like, if a siege tank is positioned there, you didn't move in on it. You just didn't. You didn't even try. Swarm hosts are kind of becoming that, where it's like, if a swarm host is there, you can kind of break out towards that. But as soon as there's like 14 swarm hosts, it's just, you're never going to come out cost efficiently just because of how high the DPS on those locusts are. It looks like Byeo is going to be getting that third hatchery fairly fast. Does he have gas yet? No, he does not. He's actually going 3 hatch before gas, which is a pretty interesting build. I'm curious to see what he plans to do with so much income but no gas. I mean, I expect he's going to be going for some sort of very aggressive early game strategy. Either that, or he's just going to get to a point where he's like fully saturated on drones and then drop down 6 extractors and then instantly just start flying up the tech tree. There we do see 2 extractors going down on the natural. He isn't taking any in the main. There we go. There's 1 going down in the main. Interesting. Byeo definitely choosing some interesting spots to put down his extractors, but he does only go up to 3, which is a little bit strange. If we look on Doncroft's side of the field, he is now going up to a full 4 assimilators, and we do have these And we do have the Stargate coming out, so we are going to be seeing some level of Stargate play. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Phoenixes. However, if it's not scouted, I mean, Void Rays can also be a little bit viable, but honestly, once you're in like the Diamond Masters League, you just start using Phoenixes. Void Rays just aren't worth the danger, because Void Rays are something that cost a lot, and sometimes they just can't get damaged on, whereas with Phoenixes, they don't cost nearly as much, and they almost always get damaged on. And if they don't get damaged on, they're at least superb scouting units, and you can know exactly what your opponent's going. We do have Byeo, interestingly enough, going for that Roach Warren currently. Does he have his lair on the way? No. Huh. There's the layer. Alright, I guess he just had a really slow sort of startup on that gas income, which makes sense, but this is actually a pretty late layer. I mean, 8 minutes is pretty slow, especially considering the fact that Doncroft already has a Void Ray on the way. And really the only thing Byeo is going to have to defend against this is going to be those queens. This layer is not going to finish nearly in time to get any sort of Hydralisk force out or anything. And so far, Doncroft has been doing a very good job of picking off any sort of overlord, excuse me, that's trying to get into his base. And Byeo really hasn't been able to get anything in there. It looks like we are going to have quite a few sentries coming out for Doncroft, which is fairly interesting. You don't usually see Sentry Void Rays attacks just because Sentries cost so much gas, and that's gas that isn't going towards the Void Rays. However, I guess considering the fact that he is only pumping off one gateway, it isn't too surprising. You actually see him going for a fast air weapons. Doncroft, you sneaky bastard. He already has Warp Gate, he just hasn't changed it into a Warp Gate yet, which is a little bit interesting. So I guess it's not that sneaky, but it's definitely weird to see that +1 air attacks coming out, along with +1 air shields in general, which is basically the only upgrade you can get for the Forge that also upgrades your air units. So Doncroft definitely looking like he wants to go quite heavily into this air play, and so far he hasn't really revealed it at all. Byeo is going to be coming in here with quite a large force of Roaches and Zerglings. But honestly, with this Sentry Void Ray army, it should be a pretty easy hold for Doncroft to have here. He does have a second Void Ray on the way now. I thought that would... No, that is the third. Alright, I am not going crazy. He does have a third Void Ray on the way, and once you have 3 Void Rays, you know, Roaches really aren't a danger. It doesn't look like Byeo really wants to move out yet. In fact, he was just taking down the rocks, which is... interesting, definitely interesting. I just realized there are rock towers on a space station. Actually, no, I guess this is a sky island, but still, it's basically a space station. And there was just a rock tower sticking up there. Like, the cooling tower makes sense. The rock tower, not so much. I don't understand why there would be a rock tower on a space station. That just doesn't actually add up to me. I'm gonna try to figure that out as I contemplate it over a delicious sip of water. Nope, can't figure it out. So anyway, we are going to have Byeo trying to move in here. He will finally see those Void Rays, and he will be moving in here with the Roaches, but there's absolutely nothing to take down these Void Rays. But oh my god, these Roaches managed to get up all the way. Those force fields are okay, but they're really nothing spectacular. We do have Warpins of a lot of Zealots coming in now. But honestly, this is quite the formidable force of Roaches. These Void Rays are going to be able to put quite the timer on them, and wow, these Void Rays are already racking up the kills at 9 and 6 each. And, I don't know, man. I mean, Doncroft has taken a lot of damage with this. He's basically lost his entire army. He might lose this Nexus. I think he will. I don't think he has the DPS here to actually maintain this Nexus in a position of health, and there the Nexus does go down. So this is going to be an awkward situation for Doncroft, as he is now 2 bases down versus his Zerg opponent. Being 1 base down as a Protoss player is, like, okay. Being 2 bases down is kind of awful, especially considering the fact that Byeo just got his Spire up. If I can figure out where it is. Spire, where are you? There's the Spire. Wow, I was looking right at it as I opened up the structure stat to look at it. That's a little bit insulting. It does look like that Spire is going to be out yet, though, and we do have 11 Mutalisks on the way, and oh, that is going to be painful to watch. I mean, Mutalisks do quite the job against Void Rays. Doncroft has 2 Stargates, but he's still double pumping out Void Rays, and what he really needs right now are Phoenixes. With good micro, he could hold this, but it's going to be difficult, because 11 Mutos will basically, I mean, the Void Rays will win, but it'll be a bloodbath for the Void Rays. You really don't want to be on the Void Rays side of that wager, because they should be able to beat 11 Mutalisks, I think. if my math is right. However, there are of course 5 more Mutalisks on the way, so it'll actually be 16, and that's a lot closer than is comfortable. So Doncroft might be running into an awkward situation right now. He is going to be moving out onto this 3rd base at this point. He should be able to snipe off the 5th. And has this attack not been scouted yet? Oh my god, it hasn't. So the 5th base does finish, and that's a little bit awkward. We do have a lot of Mutalisks on the way currently. He is going to be going up to like 23, which is going to be quite the formidable force. I don't know. Doncroft is quite behind on supply right now. He's still only double pumping out Void Rays, and Void Rays are not what you need when it comes to a giant Zergling Mutalisk force that's bearing down on you. Of course, he does have those Zealots out, and the Zealots do have +1, but the Zergling's actually at 0-0. Huh. Interesting. It looks like we are going to have this force moving in at this point. They will snipe off the cooling tower to stop anything from getting in behind them. However, the thing that they really need to be worried about is the fact that everything is going to be charging their main base. And oh my god, Doncroft, why are you warping in here? Doncroft, what are you doing, man? You warp in up here. That's the brick you want to warp in. And oh my god, that is so many Mutalisks. It looks like we do have the recall coming back here, and these Void Rays will be here to help deal with the Mutalisks, but there's just so many of them in the Void Rays. Despite how numerous they are, God, I'm not sure if their DPS is going to be high enough to deal with the Mutalisks. The Mutalisks are going to be forced back at this point. However, this Zerg army is still so huge and so frightening. And oh, Void Rays, they shouldn't be this good. However, the issue is that these Mutalisks are flying away from them. These Mutalisks really can't afford to do these 1 volleys fly away. Because the issue is that every 1 volley they get off is 5 or 6 volleys from Void Rays, and Void Rays will just do an absurd amount of damage. He can take a 1v1 fight with this. He just needs to do it convincingly. He needs to come up and he needs to say, listen, I'm not going to run it, you're not going to run it. My Mutalisks are going to fight your Void Rays, and my Mutalisks are going to freaking win. And honestly, how he's playing it right now is not convincing enough, because the issue is that these Mutalisks, they're just flying away from engagements. They could very cleanly win, and they're taking way too much damage from those Void Rays. There are still a ton of them, but, I mean, yeah, there's still way more Mutalisks than there are Void Rays. Mutalisks versus Void Rays is, again, never a good situation. It's all going to be about the control of Doncroft's Phoenixes and actually how much damage he can get done with them. Now, of course, Doncroft does have a little bit of advantage in the fact that Byeo has not even started considering going for those Hydralisks yet, which is definitely something he needs to start doing. But, man, this is just such a weird game currently. I really need to see how these Phoenixes engagements work out. It looks like, yeah, one of the Phoenixes got sniped. There's just so many Mutalisks that these Phoenixes literally cannot take a volley from them, which is scary. I mean, this Phoenix control is going to have to be impeccable if he wants to be able to take out these Mutalisks, because this is just, oh, so many Mutalisks. There are 2 pages of Mutalisks here, which is frightening. And honestly, Byeo, I think he still just aim into this army and absolutely crush it. I honestly don't know why he isn't. There's nothing on the ground here. There's basically just the Phoenixes posing him an issue. He does have Ultralisks on the way, but Ultralisks will get absolutely destroyed by Void Rays. Like, without a question, Void Rays do an absurd amount of damage to Ultralisks. They do an absurd amount of damage to Hatcheries, do an absurd amount of damage to Spore Crawlers. It looks like these Mutalisks are going to be coming in here, but they're doing the same crap where they're just kind of like ducking in and trying to deal a little bit of damage, where they really just need to be going in for the convincing victory. Here we go for the A move. Oh my god, they're absolutely crushing through this Void Ray force, but is there going to be enough? Oh, so many of these Mutalisks are going down, but at the same time, Doncroft's army is just whittling here, and it looks like there might just be enough Protoss here that he will be able to force his opponent back, and Byeo is going to be in a rough spot here. I still think you should have taken that engagement when the Mutalisks weren't scouted yet, because if you take an engagement and your opponent doesn't know about the Mutalisks, you're in a pretty great spot, because there's no Phoenixes out, there's no Stalkers out, it's just Void Rays. And Void Rays get absolutely trashed by Mutalisks. Like, it's not even a fair fight. I think that doing that entire, like, pulling back bullcrap when he had so many Mutalisks just really hurt him here. And now Doncroft is kind of in a position where he can kind of just dodge in with these Mutalisks and with these Phoenixes and with these Void Rays and with these Stalkers and just do an amazing amount of damage, because the critical mass from Byeo isn't there anymore for the Mutalisks. And wow, this was actually an incredible win. I can't believe Doncroft pulled that one out. Huh. I'm honestly surprised. I mean, there were definitely some questionable decisions by Byeo, but Doncroft was in a really negative spot right there, and Byeo is forced to call it GG. So, yeah, there we go. Doncroft finally leaves the game. If you guys want any more Boisterous action, you can head over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, if you want your games commentated, send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Both of those links will be in the description for this video. Be sure to check that one out. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. Leave your comments. Be sure to send your games in, because I'm gonna get back to commentating like three times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So you guys kind of need to leave that stuff for me, so I actually have something to yell at from you. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous signing out.